Alright. Okay, so we're going to start with a replay review here. Alright, so we are looking at Godspark. Godspark here is a Diamond 1. He says he flips between Plat and Diamond. So I looked at 3 of his games. I looked at a recent win, I looked at his most recent loss, and I looked at his second most recent loss. Or hideout. So one thing I want to state is that we're gonna look at the loss and the victory, because mostly I've noticed that you changed your build order. I think it's the Beastie build order that he released recently. Great opening. I like it a lot. But look at your games. You warned me. You said your macro once you hit feudal is the thing you struggle with. And yes. Yes. But look, we can talk about that as well as talk about a few other things that I noticed. But I think the biggest thing when it comes to macro is mindset. So before we get into it, you're at the level, you're getting to Diamond, where it's really important that once you enter a map and you know who your opponent is, you already kind of have a gander in your mind. What are they going to do? So, for example, you enter Marshland. You know you're playing the Deli. Great thing about Deli, they basically have one strategy, with some slight variations, but most Deli players you play against, they're going to go for the sacred sites. They're going to try to fight you in feudal, and then if they can get a slight advantage, they're going to push that advantage to then go to castle, in which they're going to try to put keeps on major resources, and then beat you down in castle, usually a timing push in castle. And so the biggest thing you got to do with Deli is, I mean, and this is true for any Civ, but especially for Deli, is cutting off their food. They get so much food off berries. That's where their advantage comes from, because since Deli can make units so quickly, they need food. Well, they get a lot of food from berries, so cutting off food. So knowing the Deli strategy, you know they're going to mass units on feudal. You have a couple options. I play Deli a lot, and one thing I think you could potentially look into, and I know this is hyper Deli specific, but one thing you could look into is doing like a fast castle. I've actually when I've struggled with English as Deli, it's when they actually fast castle, and then I'm trying to fight castle units before I'm ready. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about this specific matchup. But so your thought process: what do I think they're going to do? What is my plan here? Your plan should be: I'm going to get them off the food, and then I'm going to hold off their food sources and kind of starve them out. I need to trade even until I can starve them out of food sources and not let them sit on sacred sites. That should be your goal. All right, so first 5 minutes, your opening build order is great. You send sheep back. Let me sheep this one too. Your units are doing the correct thing. Yada yada. Okay, you're aging up, and then here's the first thing we need to watch. So, what am I saying about? So you go up and you start scouting, and at this point, you have enough food, and as English, you're not going to run out of food if you do your farms correctly. You need to know what your enemy is doing. With Deli, you're going to guess, okay, probably going to do Horseman and Archer, because he knows you're going to do Longbow. So he's going to get a Ghazi Raider out immediately, try to get enough archers, and fight you. The big thing you want to see is he going to do Dome of the Faith, or is he going to do Tower of Victory? And I don't really know if I like this. The scouting, what you should have done is, instead of going diagonally up and down, you should have gone over and up. Because you would have wanted to do diagonally and down if you were afraid of running out of food. You needed more sheep and bring it back to town. So you have enough sheep, if you have enough food, you're going to get farms. So actually, you should have gone over and then up and then back. Because then right now, you would be seeing, right when you're aging up, what is this person starting off with. Now here's the key. Here's why I like you did really well on this one. You get archers out, you walk up, boom, you see stables and Dome of the Faith. Once again, we have to ask ourselves, what does Dome of the Faith tell us? Dome of the Faith tells us he's going to try to do mass scholars. Unlike Tower of Victory, Tower of Victory only has 2 scholars, and they tend to mass archers and spearmen. They really want to fight you in feudal more, actually. Dome of the Faith, if this is a good Deli player, signals the idea that they're trying to get to castle, because then they're going to get a lot more scholars, and with those extra scholars, they're going to research their techs faster. Really high level Delia players can go imp and actually get their upgrades really quickly that way. But you come up, and I love this. You push him off his food initially. You didn't kill a villager, but this is going to pause him for a second. And then here's what I like that you do a lot. You run away. This is actually quite appropriate. You know a Gazi Raider is about to exit. You want to save these archers. Send them home. And you keep your scout out. That's awesome. What you should be scouting for right here is where the food source is. I need to know all the possible places you're going to go. You should go back, then back check here again. You have spears. Now let's talk about your current setup. Spears coming out. You're getting barracks down. Love it. And you're getting out to wood. Now the question is, how many do you need on wood? I'm pretty sure if you got this build from Beastie, and if you didn't, whoever you got it from, I would watch his video. It's really good. The question when you're trying to do macro is, what is my goal? What resources do I need to execute that goal? If your goal, and that's the thing, doing these replay views, I don't really know exactly what you are personally trying to do here. But my guess is you want to try to fight him here in feudal, maybe even end it in feudal. Or maybe you're trying to fend him off and go to castle, but the way you play this suggests that you're trying to keep this fight in feudal. So if that's the case, you need enough wood to consistently produce longbowmen, spearmen right now. You don't have the food to go men at arms. They're too food heavy. When you get more villagers, sure. So you want to have basically, at archers being 50, you want to be able to do your upgrades and yada yada. You probably want to get about 14 on wood, which allows you to then also slowly add farms. And then you want to flip over to food. And this is where the macro is actually more about pausing and thinking more than it is knowing exactly how many villagers. Because I personally don't know exactly how many villagers I need. But what macro is pausing every like 10 to 20 seconds, or when you've just finished a fight and you look at your resources and go, what do I need? What do I need? And the key with wood that I need to remember for myself is, unless you're reducing wood heavy units, you generally don't need more than 12 to 14. And then you add a few more villagers as you increase your production. But you want to get enough on wood to produce archers, increase your production, and get farms. So 12 to 14, maybe even 15. And then put them all on food. And then once you notice you're going ham on food, flip them back to wood. You kind of go back and forth until you want to go castle. But it's macros all about pausing and asking, what am I trying to do? What resources do I need? What do I need to move? The best players, if you watch any high-level player, what you'll notice them do is that they will have 0 floating resources. They know what they want to do. They have so many reps at this game that they know exactly, generally, okay, I need to get this many villagers, I need to get this many villagers. And then when they go castle, boom, they're collecting resources, go to castle. I want to go imp, boom, they're collecting resources, go imp. They are not floating unless they are floating to get somewhere. Sweet. So well, actually, as we watch this, let's actually talk about the pause points when we should be like, okay, is my macro good? So right now you're getting a mass here. You should probably get, get like 4 or 5 spears, get archers. My tip is control, as you build production, control group 3. Because generally I do military and control groups 1 and 2. I don't need more than 2. If I have a group over here, it's 1. If I have a group over here, it's 2. Or if I know I'm about to do a big fight, I'll do my melee on 1 and my range on 2. But this wall, what's this wall for? Why are we building this wall? This static defense should go up if you know you're about to be pushed. Delhi takes a minute to rev up. And yeah, they might send a Gazi Raider, but the question is a Gazi Raider going to kill your economy? Right now. With 2, with 3, with 4, no. You can get these back in your town center and then move some soldiers down and then fix it. But you're not facing a Night Civ. You don't need to worry about this because you're about to be aggressive, right? Your actually best defense here is you being aggressive. This wood should be used to build another barracks because you're guessing that they're probably going to go heavy on Gazi Raiders. So you should be built another barracks, or on these maps like Marshland or Hideout, or just in general as the English, you need to be putting up towers. This being a tower here, or here, or here, or trying to stick a tower here, but mostly in this area would be massive. This gives you centers control. It lets you see what's going on, And as English, that gives you fighting power. So I'd actually focus on getting... Don't put up static defenses unless you feel like you're about to be pushed or you're facing a Knight Civ, someone who can be aggressive with 1 or 2 units. Instead, trust in 1, your town center being a fucking machine gun. So trust in that. And then 2, trust in the fact that your villagers have bows. They can defend themselves. And 3, your own aggressiveness, that you don't need these static defenses. So the big takeaway is I should be building towers, taking space, and aggressing on their resources. Sweet. And keep up the scouting. Keep moving your scout around. Boom. So you see this first fight happens. He comes in. This was actually silly by him. I don't know why he's being aggressive. He shouldn't have been aggressive. But he takes the first sacred site. And this is what I've had English players do to me before, which I think is really effective. You build 1 Vanguard man at arms, and you send them over here. They'll take care of the rest. Or send 1 spearman. And just decap this before they build something around. So you've been popcat. Make sure you do that. You fix that. You're now on food. You're still sending to wood. You got that 15. You should put it back on food now. Because look, you're already floating. You're already floating. Because now you have 18 on wood. Do not need that much. So, I would flip you. This is when you. So you're about to hit a fight here, right? Let's slow this down here. Sorry, I went too fast at this part. So you get caught out in the middle here. It happens. You recover nicely. Here's what you should always do. You should always make sure, 1, that's why I would have put the tower closer at first, or kept your scout with your units at first, so this didn't happen. But you can actually fix this. So he runs away. Bold, beautiful. Now you should know in your mind, okay, he's doing Ghazi Archer. I need way more archers. He actually has a lot more archers than he has Ghazi Raiders. So you should be hella massing archers right now. And what do you know? You're out of food. You look at his food, 704, because he's just eating, he's just nomming on these berries here. He's getting so much food off of that. Okay. And he doesn't have any scholars then. Interesting. You see any food out here? No? Okay. So he's finishing up sheep, and he's eating on these berries. He has 704 food. So he's probably going to get some more units up. So you right now should be pumping units, and you can't exactly because you have so much wood. So at this point, you finished a fight. So you're walking away. You have a moment to fix your economy. You look down. I see wood. Okay. I see gold. Okay. I'm going to get... Ooh, Iron Undermesh would be great. Iron Undermesh is amazing against Deadly because they always want to go archers. So I get Iron Undermesh. I then build another archery range. I build another barracks. I build 2 more farms, but I also need to be rallying to food. In fact, you could even quickly take 4 villagers and just boom, 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 4 farms. You'll notice if you watch upper level players play English, whenever they get too much wood, they'll just grab some of their wood villagers and immediately build farms. But this is your time to adjust your economy. You finished a fight, you're both kind of licking your wounds, fix your economy. Rally up here. Rally together. Rally together. What you need to be doing at this point is actually moving your scout around while you were rallying together, and you need to be building towers here. A tower here would be huge. This would allow you to see, is he on his next food? So let's guess, is he on his next food? Not yet, but he's about to finish this up. But if you were able to come back and take this position and push him off this food, he wouldn't be in a good way right here. I don't know why he's going over here, actually. It's an interesting move by him. You walk up, you realize, ooh, that's a lot of units. Smart. Take fights you can win. If you ever feel like you can't win a fight, don't take it. Aggressive tower here. But why here? So for the sacred site? Okay. But this sacred site is already being defended by you. And besides that, he already has a sacred site. He's getting gold. You should be putting your outposts on resources right now. Putting it right here, huge. Getting it back here, huge. It's two food resources right here. Getting it here, huge. You need to be predicting his next movement, because if you can cut off his next food resource, he will die. If you put a tower here, you can still defend this. He can't go out and take this without you just easily rotating back and taking it out. You put it here, same deal. Put your towers in a little bit more aggressive spots. Because back, you micro this pretty well. My suggestion always, whenever I get in these fights where I always ask myself, I'm not like the fastest, I'm not like a god tier micro, but I ask myself, what is the unit I need to control the most? It is Spearman in this case. So what you should do is right when the fight breaks out like this, you should just take your archers, shift, and then click on the first like 6 of his archers, and then double click on your spearmen. Now you're just controlling spearmen. But this should already tell you, you are, with his amount of archers, you need way more spearmen. You still do not have your next production building up. You should be able to produce double the units right now. And the question is, are you going to be able to produce through this fight? Fighting. You lose your villager. The second you realize, I don't know if I can win this fight, you should have ran your villager back. But look at this. You stop making units. People who make units while they're still fighting live. That's why I think it's huge to have all of your production on a number. If you have it on, what I do, with putting it on 3, it's a very natural way for me to reach. Then in the middle of a fight, when I have a second, I'll just hit 3, queue up more units, go back to my fight. I like that you're running. Run. Run, you're not winning this. Yep, keep doing that, keep shooting as you're walking. Okay, now you got a problem. Which is, let's actually see the value here. Oh, you guys are equal on Destroyed Valley. He's done a little bit better than you, but he is maintaining a much larger army, and he's gonna want to go castle off this, right? But he's running out of sheep. He's about running out of these berries. He's gonna have to walk out here. That's where you need to be able to stop him. A little more units, but this is the cycle that makes you hard to catch up, because if you're only making units during times of peace, you will never be able to eat grass when you lose a fight like that. Yeah. So your goal, once again, your goal is, you asking yourself is English. Am I constantly building farms? Am I constantly adding production? Am I constantly be able to produce units? Constantly. I like how you moved units off wood to food, but also you should keep adding to food. You should maintain 13, 14 on wood. Keep getting those upgrades. But look what he's done now. He is, with his army, he's able to secure a better spot for himself. Exactly what he wants to do. You can see it. You can see him stacking units here. What do? You catch up, but man, imagine we making units during the entire fight. Back out, now no spearmen. It's not just because of the numbers of Gazi Raiders. It's actually, you don't have enough spearmen to tank the amount of archer damage you're going to take. And in fact, at this point, it would be amazing if you switched to Vanguard Men-at-Arms. About this time, when you're hitting, like how many villagers you have? Yeah, when you start hitting 35, 40 villagers, you're producing more food, and you notice that he's not going heavy on Gazi Raiders, just switch to Men-at-Arms. They tank heavy, and his archers will struggle to take them out. So yeah, I would upgrade your early Men-at-Arms, start pumping, and you could do a mix. Do Men-at-Arms and Spearmen. Spearmen take out the Gazi Raiders, Men-at-Arms will tank, and then walk up and tank more, and your longbows will shred. Good defense position, you walk back out. You realize it's on the sacred site. Still defending it. Okay, he hits castle. He has taken all 3 sacred sites, and you're even on units, and this is no bueno. This is pretty tough. You're not lost. At this point, you have 2 options. If you feel like you have the unit advantage, ignore the sacred site. You walk up, and you need to do unit damage right now. You go, he must be on one of these. Is he on this? Is he on this? I gotta go attack a food source right now. Could I walk up to his wood line? So in this case, you know he's chopping wood here. Your best bet is to walk your ass up here. Can I get some archers here? If he is he not here? Can I walk back? You gotta kill some villagers. You should take one unit over here and decap, send one unit over here and decap, and then you're going hard, and then you yourself are going castle. At this point, you need to pull half of your wood villagers, put them on your sheep carcasses or put them on something, and you need to get to castle right now. Your units need to distract them long enough for you to get a castle, which I assume you're going to do. You could do a second TC, and then you're back in it. Because it's not lost here. You're behind, but it's not lost. But you got to do damage. You sitting here attacking this, not a good use of time. Because right now, I bet yep, no defenses on this sacred site, no defense on this sacred site. He's just hoping that you'll sit here on this one, and you do. Ignore it. Ignore it. It's one sacred site. Because while you've been attacking this, he's been remassing, and he doesn't even have castle units yet. He doesn't have castle units yet. These are all normal units. If you had walked up and taken space, you would have prevented him from massing his units, and you could have picked off those archers. It would have pushed him off the wood line. You can then rotate around, pushed him off the food, and really slowed him down. Punish, if he's going to age up like that, punish it as best as you can. Where you go wrong is that you commit to feudal. Because you feel behind, you feel like you need to fight, and you're going to invest too many resources staying in feudal. Don't send your scout, send a archer or splurge. These games are always just a matter of what, like, are you asking questions? What's the most damage I can do right now? If you're going to do this static comp where you can't raid because you don't have any horsemen or knights, you got to just rotate through his resources. If you walked up right here, right now, you can at least get him off stone. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, you need to rush cash at this point. At this point, it's just going to be you slowly losing this cash. So, let's summarize the big things you can get out of this. 1, a rotating question set in your mind. What is my goal? What resources do I need to get there? If you want to fight feudal, you got to get more production. You got constantly wrapping up your production, constantly increasing your food, and then increasing your wood only when you realize you're running low on it. Start with 15 on wood. Go food, food, food. Keep adding farms. Food, food. Keep adding farms. Keep adding farms. Add production. You need 2 barracks to match what you're producing here on your council landmark. Then maybe add another archery range. You need to be producing and maintaining 0 on all of your resources. I would always do that on downtime. So you're not fighting, refresh down, add, move villagers if you need to. It's not great, but move them if you need to. But like 25 on wood, you only need 25 on wood if you're gonna produce siege, or you're producing twice the amount of units you're producing right now. Second, make sure you are using your civ's advantages. Towers, that's towers for you. So make sure you're putting towers on aggressive spots that cut off in vital resources. And 3, think about what your opponent's trying to do. In this case, push them off the resources. Get them off those resources. Even stuff like some annoying shit. Like if you had just sent 2 archers to sit here and then come out later and start shooting at them, it's just stuff like that. Small things like that. But ask yourself, what do they need to succeed? What do I need to succeed? What do they need to succeed? How can I cut off the thing they're doing that would make them succeed? And then lastly, make sure you keep your production buildings on a command key. My suggestion is Control 3 or Control 4. And then whenever, at all times, if you're not trying to age up, you're hitting your command key, you're rallying close to the fight, and you're just sending more units. Because you're doing a comp that is more fighting, less reading. Alright. And actually, there's one more thing I want to add before we finish up here. And that is your win. Because you actually, you tried to let this person back in. Another Delhi player, interestingly enough. But I want to show you, 1, how you did the things I just kind of suggested a little bit better in this one, and how it paid off. And 2, how to finish a game. Because that's really hard. How do I finish a game once I have an advantage? Do-do-do. Scouting pattern. Pause. At this point, on this scout, you should feel like you are going to be king for a day. Look at the food setup. Berries, sheep, sheep. If you can take this spot, he loses 3 food resources on a civ that is food starving. Keep that in mind. I'm attacking food sources. If you can take either food away or wood away, they can't make anything. At this point, you need to be up there seeing what are they making. You're gonna ignore this corner. You don't really know this corner. What are they going for? You send your archers up. Your opponent's a little bit faster this time. The second you see that he's done with a stable, you should just back down. No, your archers. Yeah, just save the archers. In fact, you could just sat here and waited. Already. Why stop rallying to wood? Build farms. Get them on farms. Get Steeled Arrow first, then Siege Engineering or Iron Admission Signature. But you want to get these 3. This is good force. Got a good amount here. For example, let's see what they're at. 15. 10. Things are working out. First, you don't need to have your horsemen sitting, your scouts sitting with you. You could have been out here scouting and checking before you went out. You should have scouted. So look how far out this food resource is. So you could completely eliminate their food economy by just taking this spot and then having a couple archers or someone sit here so that when they come down here, you know you rotate down and finish it. You chase him back. He's scared. Boom. And this time you didn't get caught. You actually had your units together, didn't get caught. Send 1 archer, 1 spearman up here to stop this. You lost your scout. That's very sad. You should make another scout. You're fighting this out. At this point, once you're like, okay, actually this looks really good for me, you need to be sending a villager. Yeah, I know you did, but send this villager up. Oh, you did. Look. Why here? Why here? I know it's fun that's in the stealth force. Put it here. Put it here. Get a little bit. Send 5 villagers to stone to get 50 stone. Upgrade it with the arrow, and then this food source is knocked out. Boom, boom. Can't get deer. Push them up the food, and now we're at this weird part where what do I do now? I did it. This guy's in a really bad spot. He's in a terrible spot. This dude's dead, basically. He has no food. He's sitting on sheep. Sheep will run out pretty quick. He has been hyper defensive. He has this food source and that's it. Unless he has to start making farms. What do? Well, you pause and you go, what do I need to finish this game? Because I'm in a great spot. Should I rush castle? Should I try to finish it? Well, once again, you've put too many on wood. Take these 3, put them on, start making farms, but just go ahead and get siege engineering. Go ahead and get siege engineering. But really all you need is, if you put that tower here, then all you do is you rotate back around. Keep rotating. At this point, you should just rotate back here, pick off villagers, rotate back down, check the food. And what you should start doing is just start being a shark. Just walk around, villager picks. Don't let them get on the food. Keep rotating. Since you've kept the watchtower here, if they try to come back to the food, you rotate back. And you just keep starving them, and you keep building your forces. Keep rallying. Like, if you walk this group around, you want to keep rallying up so you have your forces right here as close as possible. Just watch what happens. Sit here, and you're like, okay, let's rotate. Awesome. So you're going to rotate. You're going to rotate. Where are your units to help? They're sitting right here. Send them up with here. Because then you see these 2. No, don't send them back. Just rally your units here. If you see them trying to cut you off, which is something they'll do a lot, just rally your units here. Just rally them closer, and then move as a group. Where we need more, once again, production. At this point, when you're rotating, ask yourself, what am I doing? Well, I want to win this fight in feudal. I'm going to come back. I need, I have 500 wood. I'm going to add another barracks. I'm going to add another archer range. I'm going to keep making units. But you're rotating, you're rotating, you're rotating, you're rotating, you're rotating. And then you realize, oh shit. And he caught you. And you lost all your units. Because they were down here. Because you saw 2 Gazi Raiders. Imagine if you had been taking these units around. Then when you backed up, you would have had your reinforcements right here. Because at this point, your reinforcements would crush this army. Crush this army. But he successfully split your forces. And then you see him go second TC. He is committing to feudal because he wants the second TC. So you're not stuck. You're not out of it. Of course, you win this game. But that was a point where if you had kept your forces together, kept rotating, but kept rallying your units up, you're in a really good spot. Or you could have just gone siege engineering, built the 2 rams, walked in and started ramming shit down. Because you have the resources, you have the people. Because what is he doing now? He's probably any second going to go down to these berries down here. But keep him off the food. Ticket site. And then, so he's just doing a much better job of keeping his forces together and then taking good fights on you with all of his units. And once again, since you set your scout up to decap this, you lost all vision. He's stuck up on you. Backup force, and once again, your backup force could have won that fight, but they're not there because you gotta rally your units to where the fight's happening. You see the second TC. Decap it, sure. Here's your reinforcements. Where are you rallying your units right now? See, rally them higher up. Remember, what's he need? He needs food. He's not moving food yet, but he's guarding that food source. He's on second TC. He's aged up. You're aging up. Here's what you should realize. As Delhi, most likely he goes compound defender. Where is he want to put a keep? On his next food source. On all his next resources: food, wood, gold, gold. If you had rotated down at that moment, stop the castle, he's in a really bad spot. Because look how fast he burned through this food. Because he's trying to make double the villagers and maintain his army. Also, okay, so you got your castle upgrades. Get in there. You have 500 resources, 500 wood, drop 2 rams right now. Once again, how are my resources? Good, you're rallying to gold. Exactly what you need to do. You have way too much food. At this point, you can't produce enough units to match all that food. Don't build farms until you're running out of food. Gold, 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 build more production. Don't send this ram in. You should have at least 3 rams. Look how much wood you have. Just use all your units, drop 2 more rams, ram push for 3. Oh no! Seize your friend. Stagger formation. So 1 mag and they'll beat you off. So this leads to what RTS is all about. RTS is all about reactions. How do I react to what my opponent did? How's my opponent reacting to what I did? You should be dropping a siege workshop and a spring wolf right now. You added more farms. You have way too much food. If you have you could drop a market and sell that food. But this actually should tell you I need more on food. I need more on food. It's okay to pull these like 6 villagers off. Put them back later. Now you're dying for food. So macro, what do I need to do? What do I need to reorient to get that? But what you need is spirals. And what you did, like, this imp is fine, but this was an oopsie imp, I feel like. This was I wasn't paying attention to my resources. I wasn't building enough units because I didn't have enough production. Look at your queue in each of your production buildings. This tells you could have you could have 3 more archery ranges. You could have two or 3 more barracks. And let's talk about placement here. Berkshire, why? Do you think he's about to walk down and kill you? You're ahead. He can't walk down and kill you. Put this Berkshire here. Put it here. That Berkshire can take so much space. Put it somewhere good. I'm doing a review for someone who asked for it. I'm about to play games. Yeah, put your Berkshire in a good spot. You have your units here. Place this bad boy here. Cuts off the sacred site. Cuts off the gold. Cuts off the second gold. Cuts off the sacred site. But since you imped, and he can't imp, you get your imp upgrades, your sim grade, and it down. But here's why I said it's an oopsie imp, because you could have easily, at that point, lost resources to imp, and then he walks in with a much larger army, and you don't have the resources to stop. So it works out here. You really try to land back in the game, and you're still doing the no spring ult challenge. Please make springs. That's the only thing he has stopping me. And here's the production. Why no archery range? No archery range challenge. But yeah. Oh. So that's a review. If I was to end with any thought, it would be, as I said in the first part, macro is all about pausing in the small moments and ask yourself, what am I doing? What I need to move my units to? And also learning your benchmarks. 15 on wood's a good amount, unless you are absolutely going ham on archers. Keep that on wood until you realize I don't have enough wood. But it's like stopping every 20 seconds, asking yourself, am I good on resources? What do I need to move? And macroing to that goal. If you're fighting feudal, you want to just keep going on food. A few on wood, food, and get your production up. Second, am I always making units? If you want to fight in feudal, never stop making units. Never stop making units. You're trying to win. So keep them on a command key, keep on making units, and when you have an advantage, push that advantage. But depending on your opponent, they always need food. Cut off food, cut off the resources until you have the mass and the rams to finish the game. Have a good game, man. Hope that review helped. Hope that advice helped. If you have any questions, let me know.